What's up, everybody? I'm back. It's Jevin LaFave, your boy. Little bonus episode. Um, we, me and Haydn recorded episode 81 on Monday night prior to the Tom Brady and Brian Flores news. So we're bringing you this bonus episode this afternoon to talk about the big news of the GOAT retiring, leaving the NFL, some of his best memories, and kind of what we took from his career and how the NFL will kind of look going forward. And then we talked about Brian Flores, the unfortunate scandal that he's been going through, and the NFL's racism during the hiring process, and what he's just battled through to fight for justice in this league. And it's quite sensitive to talk about, just because you never like seeing these type of topics come up. But yeah, just a quick 40-minute bonus episode for you guys today. So I hope you enjoy. Listen to episode 81 that dropped earlier today, and we'll see you guys next week. Enjoy this episode. Peace. What's going on, everyone? We're bringing you a bonus episode. I'm bringing Haydn back on. We were recording Monday, as the episode has been released today, but the problem with recording Mondays and uploading Wednesdays, big news always happens to drop on Tuesdays as soon as the episode is edited and recorded. So couple big news stories dropped, Haydn, and I don't think it's right and appropriate to wait 7 days to talk about this news. So we're bringing you guys a bonus episode this week. Haydn, Tom Brady, you said he's coming back. You said you think he's coming back. I was still unsure about it. I wasn't guaranteeing him to be retired, but it is official. Via Tom Brady's Instagram, he officially announces his retirement after 22 years in the NFL. Man,
hats off. As you see, I don't even have one on.
yeah. The guy changed he changed the game. He changed the way people look at taking care of your body and like longevity. He took longevity and was like, hey, hold my beer, like,
Yeah,
or hold my pistachio ice cream or avocado water or
tequila.
whatever. Yeah, avocado tequila. No, but man, what are your thoughts on like just the Tom Brady news? What an inconvenient timing it was for us. I mean,
Oh my God.
why couldn't have come like 14 hours earlier? But
Well,
yeah, what are your thoughts on like Tom Brady retiring and just calling it a career?
let me just say, it's weird, recording yesterday and then in person, and now this one. Obviously, it's gonna be like a little bonus one. It's kind of weird, but
Yeah.
hey, I did say that he'd be back, but I said unless it comes out of the cow's mouth. Well, I didn't say that reference, but unless it came out of his mouth
Yeah.
that he was going to retire, which it came out, and
Hmm.
uh I was just thinking about it today, and it's like if you are in his inner circle and you leak that, that's kind of a bullshit move,
Yeah.
like let the guy do it himself. He deserves to do it. Obviously, he's the greatest of all time. Let him have his piece. I saw a little thing today where it was like Tom Brady could have had three separate careers in
I
his
had
whole career.
I have the
You know,
stats right in front of me, if you don't mind me reading
yeah.
them out. So,
Go ahead, read them out because it's actually insane.
Tom Brady has really had three Hall of Fame careers. I'm reading the graphic right here. From 2001 to 2007, he has 86 wins, more than Roger Staubach. He had 197 touchdowns, more than Joe Namath. He had 26,364 passing yards, more than Bob Grice, and he had three titles, more than John Elway. That's from 2001 to 2007.
Mm-hmm.
From 2008 to 2014, he has 73 wins, more than Kurt Warner, 195 touchdowns, more than Ken Stabler, 26,812 yards, more than Bart Starr, and he has one title, more than Dan Marino. 2015 to 2021, 83 wins, more than Otto Graham, 232 touchdowns, more than Troy Aikman. 31,262 yards, more than Terry Bradshaw, and 3 titles, more than Peyton Manning. His best career or best
His
chapter
best
of his
little one
career
was his last 7 years.
was his when he was in the oldest chapter of
Yeah.
his career.
Yeah. He literally said, "Fuck you, Father Time.
Yeah,
Hold my beer."
how dumb is that? Yeah, he's had 3 Hall of Fame careers.
Mhm.
Now the question raises, and I'm not one to compare because I love just respecting greatness in general, because I think that's what we should do. But I mean, is he the GOAT of GOATs?
Hmm.
Now,
That's
I had a good friend of the show, Carrie Latondre, on a few weeks ago, and I don't want to go too deep into the conversation, but he raised some good points about Serena Williams, Tiger, which, like, all due respect, like those are respectable goats of their sports. I mean, Serena Williams was like one of the most dominant athletes for a certain sport, for her
Mhm.
respected sport. Tom Brady, 44 years old, and he arguably had one of his best careers at the age of 44, throwing for over 5,000 yards. But does, do you think he's the GOAT of GOATs, top 3? Where do you kind of put him?
Hmm. I like what Corey, sorry, was saying about the goat of. He's definitely the greatest of all time at football. There's
Yeah.
no doubt about that. Will we ever see anyone get to 10 championships? Will we ever see anyone win 8 Super Bowls? Will we ever see anyone beat the unrealistic touchdown record, for regular season touchdowns? It's a huge question. And I think those marks are so undeniably like set in stone where it's going to take a long time for someone to get that. And no disrespect to Tiger, Serena Williams, or even Michael Phelps was the first one that jumped to my mind,
Yeah.
of like greatest of all times. But I think Brady's like goals and Brady's achievements are way higher, excuse me, than anyone I can think of right now.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna say like he's the greatest of all time, but he has my number one overall vote.
Yeah, it's unbelievable what he did and like how he changed the NFL. Like he was a 6th round pick and he came in and said, "Hello, Mr. Kraft. I'm Tom Brady and I'm the greatest decision that this franchise has ever made." And then he goes in and wins 6 Super Bowls for the Patriots. And I really, this is what I was going to say. Another outstanding stat that I read, and I really think this is Tom Brady. I think it is. It may have
Mhm.
been like a LeBron stat or something like that, but he's the amount of playoff games he has played, he's played 3 extra regular seasons.
Yeah, no, that is
So
that is Brady.
so he's played like 25 years in
Yeah, in
hindsight.
brackets.
That is unbelievable. That just even adds more crazy town to this guy.
Oh yeah,
And it's unbelievable.
I can't wait for all the Brady stats to come out. I saw one today, and it was a comparison to the New York Jets. Brady
Because
has 76 losses in his career all time.
I think
The
70
last seven
I think it's 73.
73. Okay. The last 7 seasons of the Jets, they have a combined 76 losses.
Yeah.
So that just like that it's great of Brady. And I hate the I hate being someone who didn't really get to experience Brady. I got to
Mhm.
experience Breeze, but Breeze never got to experience like what Brady did. How
Yeah.
many times did Brady have I saw another stat where it was like How many top or bottom 20 defenses did Brady have to play with? Zero. And
Yeah.
that's just great, like coaching and
Mm-hmm.
great building around the team. And I'm not taking anything away from Brady because he played to his potential, but it's it's amazing when you can have a player that good and yet still find a way to afford a defense and people around him to
Yeah.
make him and make, like, I don't know when we'll see that or if we'll ever see that again.
Yeah, because he was always about taking less so that he could put playmakers around him to win titles because that was his mantra. He's like, my
Yep.
wife is the highest paid model in the world. I am not worried about money. And if I'm here to win championships, I'm not here to suck the money out of the owner so that I can't have anyone to throw to. That wasn't his game plan. He's like, I'm going to take less so that we can go out and get playmakers. And it worked out. I'm guarantee you ton of the quarterbacks back then would have done the exact same thing.
It makes sense. I
Yeah.
don't, I know we've talked about this multiple times, but like, how the fuck is Dak Prescott making $40 million annually, right? Never even sniffed a Super Bowl, never even sniffed an NFC
Yeah.
championship. And then you got Joe Shiesty, second year in the league, more playoff wins than Dak. And then the biggest one too, Patrick Mahomes. Like, this is the crazy part. They picked up his fifth year option this year.
Yeah.
He's jumping from 7 million
To
to 36
36.
million.
Yeah.
Like, Kansas City might be in the shitter now. Like, they missed their like quick little window of opportunity there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's crazy how fast it came and went.
Yeah.
So, and this is something we can both relate to. Brady and Breeze never took a dime over $25 million,
Yeah.
both of them, and they both realized it. Like, even Breeze right now, and I'm sure Brady's going to do it to the Bucks. He's extending his retirement salary out through like 5 years.
Yeah. Why
Granted, he
wouldn't you?
can't. They have so much money. Who cares?
Yeah.
And Brady not even getting that extra 15 mil next week. That's a huge thing. That just shows that it's not about the money.
Yeah.
It's about winning.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, don't see it like that, or a lot of quarterbacks these days don't see it like that. And it's just, will we ever see, excuse me, that humble person like that ever again?
It's it's quite remarkable. And I'm devastated to see him go. And I saw this thing, NFL players to retire too early, and had like Andrew Luck,
Andrew
Barry
Luck,
Sanders, Cal,
Luke Kuechly,
and then
yeah,
showed Tom
Calvin
Brady.
Johnson,
And then showed
yeah.
Tom Brady. I'm like,
it's just crazy because another one, you could see Big Ben's fall off. You could see Philip Rivers fall off. You could see Drew Brees fall off. Tom Brady was second probably in votes this year for MVP candidacy.
he threw
I'd
for
put him
over
first.
five. He threw for over 5,000 yards this year.
Yeah, I would put him first personally because he didn't fuck over his team for one game like one other quarterback did. So I think a real MVP, sticks it out with the team, doesn't cause any drama in the off season, and plays at a fucking competitive level throughout his whole season, which is
Yeah.
what Brady did,
Yeah.
which is what Rodgers didn't do,
Yeah.
in my opinion. So if I was on the MVP voters, I would give it to Brady because he's in my opinion, he had a better season. He was a better teammate and a better player.
Yeah. It's just Brady is remarkable. He's one of the aliens because people all talk about like he's out of this world. Like you see McDavid, Giannis, LeBron. Mahomes, but like Brady, he's 44 playing like he's 30, playing like he's 28. Like he
Yeah.
should not, like he's defying, like it's unbelievable. Like the fact that people always call him like a pocket passer, dink and dunk. It's like his deep shots are still like he can still throw the ball if he
Yeah.
wanted to. He just makes the smart decisions. And
Yep.
that tweet from Jalen Ramsey, he's like, dang, the GOAT retired. His last touchdown was thrown on me. And
Yeah.
to Mike Evans over the shoulder, that was pretty funny. But no, because that was a dime. And it was like, this guy's 44 years old. He just drove 76 yards in 36 seconds to tie it
Mhm.
up. And every Super Bowl he played in, he had a game-winning drive to drive the Patriots down. He beat the greatest show on turf as like either a rookie or his like first his second year
Starting
in the like
season.
his second year in the league, but first time playing, kind of like a
Mhm.
Mahomes, like he was a rookie, but it was his second year in the league.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he played the greatest show on turf in the playoffs and led them a game-winning drive to win the Super Bowl. The 28-3. Like, what's your? It's just unbelievable. But I want to ask, like, what's your favorite memory of like Tom Brady? Like, when you think of him as like historic moments, like, what's your thought
I
of
mean,
Tom Brady?
it's hard not to say his first touchdown as a Buck. A great pass, right to Janoris Jenkins. Uh, no, but I, I think the most iconic Tom Brady moment is 28-3.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
that is the best comeback. That is the best Super Bowl game I've witnessed. I've never like I hate Atlanta. Donald hates New Orleans. I actually felt bad because I was like, damn, I don't really think the Patriots deserve this, but at the same time they do. Kyle Shanahan, I saw an interesting stat where it's like he's a part of 3 of 4 blown fourth quarter leads in championship games. I know he was an offensive coordinator for one, but like 28-3 is probably the most iconic Tom Brady
Yeah.
moment. And it's either that or his jump when Malcolm Butler picked off Russell Wilson.
On the
Yeah,
sidelines. Yeah.
like on the sidelines when he realized, oh. Yeah.
Or love the guy, but I mean, he's probably gonna they're gonna put him on a poster of him dropping the ball in against Philly. Like that's one of the more
Oh
iconic
yeah.
Tom Brady things. Like I like ask me, I love Tom Brady. He's one of my favorite people of all time. But that's an iconic Tom Brady moment is him dropping that
Mm-hmm.
pass. But
Yep.
I think coming in for Bledsoe and I there was this thing when Tom Brady was going in when he took over for Bledsoe and the coordinators were saying, okay, just like manage it. Like we're like just kind of make the safe play or whatever. And then Bledsoe took Brady over, looked at him. He's like, fuck that, let it sling. And Tom Brady went and drove him down and they won.
Yeah.
And I think that's an iconic moment. Is like Brady's just like, all right, I'm going to prove him as to why I'm going to be the franchise quarterback for this
Mm-hmm.
team. Comes in, slings, and just some of the throws that he made is just man. Like you look at that Randy Moss season when we threw
Mm-hmm.
like over 50
50
touchdowns.
touchdowns.
Some of those throws, and obviously, Rand, you're throwing to one of the greatest receivers of all time, but he still needs to get the ball down there. And for people to call him just like a system quarterback, he played in like 6 different systems in New England. So
Yeah.
he can play in anything you need him to play. He went from like a West Coast offense nearly in New England to an air raid one in Tampa, and he did just fine.
Yeah, he was just fun.
So he
He
can play
did
in
throw his
anything.
most interceptions ever as a Buck, but I mean,
He's throwing the
it
ball
worked
away
out for
more.
them.
he's throwing the ball way more though in Tampa. So the more you throw the ball, the more
Exactly.
chances you're gonna throw a pick. So it's just the way it's gonna work.
Yeah,
But
no, it just happens.
yeah, and no, and some of those picks, obviously, it's with every quarterback. Some of them are like right to the receiver's hands, and a lot of people disregard interceptions thrown at halftime, Hail Marys. It's just like, hey,
Mhm.
whatever, it doesn't really affect anything. That's like kind of unanimous across. Like, all right, he's just hoisting it up into like severely outmanned, hoping for Gronk to make a catch, but it's just picked off. It's like, okay, whatever, it doesn't really count. It's not really a game changing pick, but no, Brady, truly the GOAT. And I was texting you about this earlier. Doesn't thank New England in his Instagram post. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, yeah, we talked about it earlier. It is kind of weird, but I mean, who knows what went down there? Who knows the relations that they have closely. I know it was a huge thing when he wanted out, and it was like, well, fuck, where is he going? So,
Yeah.
he still thanked the organization. Later, he came back and said his thanks and whatnot. And I think I think it's going to be more than just a Twitter post. I heard that he's going to sign as a Patriot to retire as a Patriot, a 1-day contract. I saw that on Twitter. So I'm sure, whatever blood spilled between him and Belichick and him and Kraft will be quickly thrown under the carpet and be like,
Hmm.
what? Yeah, we love you, Tom. So,
Yeah. I was a little surprised and I was a little sad that even though like what the fuck does he owe me? We got us 6 Super Bowls. Like I get that. And he thanked us when he left for Tampa. So I understand it from that point. I like posted and deleted my story a couple times because I was like, yeah, I just need to like kind of understand like how do I actually feel about this. So I was like posted the hearts of like Tom Brady retiring. I was like, wait, you didn't thank New England. I'm gonna repost it. And then I was like, no, like fuck, I just took it down. But yeah, I was like a little like weird about it. I was like, like you spent 20 years for this team and like not even a paragraph in the retirement post. Like I get leaving New England and going to Tampa, you think, and that makes sense. But I I I'm not too hung up on about it now. Like maybe, yeah, you never know what's going on behind the scenes. Maybe he has something else planned for whatever, but no, regardless, I still love the guy. I'm still so happy that I got to watch him play. We got to watch him play at a high level. He's the type of player that doesn't want to be pushed out like a Big Ben or Eli. He wanted to go out when he felt it was right, and he's a second in MVP, if not first. Like we were talking about earlier, it's quite remarkable what he's done for this league
mhm.
and for the future to come. But shouts out Tom Brady, the GOAT, forever the GOAT. And it's going to take a lot for anyone to surpass him by any means in any category, whether it's Super Bowl appearances, Super Bowl wins, yards, touchdowns, completions, all that. It's going to take a lot, but shout out Tom Brady, the GOAT. Other breaking news: Brian Flores sues the NFL, the Giants, the Dolphins, and the Broncos for um, racist um, in the hiring process, for racism in the hiring process. And it dates back to at least 2019 when he was
2018.
with who? Denver?
Um, it was 2018 for like the hiring for 2019 Denver is
Oh,
what I saw.
I thought it
But
happened in 2019, the interview.
uh, I don't know. I feel like there's more, but maybe there wasn't just evidence on this. I thought I saw it say 2018 going into the 2019 Denver
Potentially.
uh I guess job. I'm assuming so. If it's 2019, then whatever, we're off by like a couple months here and there.
Yeah.
But
January 5th, 2019 is when the scheduled interview was with Flores for the coaching position in Denver.
I see.
So something may have happened prior, but it was just tickle 2019. But what was your reaction when this news broke?
The first thing I saw was when the owner allegedly said, "Whatever game you lose, I'll give you an extra 100,000
Yeah.
to intentionally shave and throw the game." That right then and there, that is fucked. Like that
Yeah.
is straight up messed up,
Yeah.
you know. And then John Elway coming into an interview with Flores, clearly drunk, hungover, whatever you want to call it. He was definitely not in the right mindset. And then Bill Belichick, not even realizing who he was texting, Brian Gables or Brian Flores. And like that one you don't really see any racist remarks. Like,
That one wasn't so much on Belichick. It was just the way Flores found out.
exactly.
I don't think Belichick did anything wrong. His intentions were
No,
to congratulate someone for the coaching job, and he pressed on the wrong Brian.
exactly. And I
But
think
it's just,
that was just kind of the icing on the cake for
yeah,
Flores. Like that's how I'm perceiving it. But obviously, whatever Flores, whatever Flores thinks is whatever he,
yeah,
is taking it as. Until then, that is how I took that news for Bill Belichick congratulating a past uh coach, assistant, whatever that he had along his tree. So hearing all this news about the scumminess, and then apparently I saw the owner try to get Flores to lure Brady to Miami in the 2020 offseason as well. Apparently there was a report on that. Yeah, I know. I just saw it actually like 20-30 minutes ago. I can send you the article on it, but
interesting.
apparently, the owner tried to do that like to Flores, and it all makes sense now as to why Flores was fired.
Yeah,
Why this came as a big shock is because he, as a minority, as a black man who is clearly in the, like, it's a shame to see, even with someone with a huge voice as Flores, is still getting tossed around like dirt, you know? And I heard that he went out for dinner with New Orleans, like a lot of people from the higher up part of management. And today he was conducted a real interview,
mhm.
per Nick Underhill. So I was saying, for the past coach who had trouble with the NFL, this is a huge power move to bring on Flores, in my opinion. If New Orleans signs him, I'm all for it.
Me
I'm
too.
all for it because fuck the NFL with this racist remark on someone as good of a coach as Brian Flores.
Yeah, because it came as such a surprise, like why Flores was fired. He had a 24-25 record, but that first season was he kind of just got tossed in there. And then
Yeah.
two straight winning seasons, and he's fired. And everyone's surprised, like, what is going on? Like, why was he fired? He instilled a new culture in Miami. And to tag along with your Miami point of being basically bribed to lose or to tank,
Mhm.
he got told, like, he asked Brian to try and tamper trying out a quarterback, and Flores said no, that's not happening, like, I'm not doing that. And then Flores got invited for a lunch on the owner's yacht. And just so happened that quarterback that um, the owner tried to tamper with, or tried to get Flores to tamper with and recruit, just happened to be there, coincidentally. And Flores was like, what? And then the owner tried to talk to him about that and was like, hey, like, try and recruit this guy. And Flores left the yacht. And the owner described him as difficult to work with and an angry black man.
Do you know who that player was?
No.
That was Brady.
Was that Brady? I thought it was a younger quarterback. I thought
No,
I
that
read
was
it as a
Brady.
younger quarterback.
It was Brady. Even though they were in the rebuild process, that quarterback was Brady. That was what I read.
Send me the article because I thought I read something else on that it
Yeah,
was a younger
I'll I'll
quarterback.
send I'll send it to you right now. But no, yeah, that was literally what I had just read. Yeah.
Because
Give
they
me
didn't give any names when I read it.
here. I'll yeah, here. Brian Flores says Dolphins owner asked him to violate NFL rules to tamper and attempt to lure Tom Brady to Miami.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There. Article is sent, and you can look at that later. But that's who they were trying to lure.
Yeah, so Brian Flores, like, and then hiring a coach without, like, in the Giants, hiring a coach without even giving Brian Flores a chance,
Mm-hmm.
like, that's fucked up in its own right.
Yep.
Like, as good as Brian Gable is, like, doing it without even, like, completely going through your hiring process is not how business should be conducted.
No.
So I'm really interested to see how this all shapes out. I really feel bad for Brian Flores because he is so dedicated to his craft and he is such a bright up and coming coach in this league, and he's like one of the people's coaches. There is not one person in this league that doesn't like Brian Flores as a coach. Everyone loves the energy he brings. He loves his coaching style. He manifested a mean, ferocious defense in Miami and like made them super competitive. I know they went on that losing streak, but they regained playoff hopes with another 7-game winning streak.
Mm-hmm.
So Brian Flores brings culture to teams. He gets the energy going. He's a younger coach. He's more of a people's coach than an old grump would be. He's he should be every owner's dream to have as their coach.
Mm-hmm.
And Miami interviewing him, Miami would be like, you guys would be the luckiest assholes in the world if you got Brian Flores as a coach because he fits the exact mold that you guys need. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I know Sean Payton was offensive minded and that worked. That worked. You just need to like build the offense a bit more. You were missing Thomas and you were missing Jameis Winston for like 3/4 of the year. But Brian Flores would be enough. He can connect with quarterbacks. And I think the Saints would be super, super scary with Brian Flores as a coach because any team would be lucky to have him on their
Yeah.
roster. And it's just
Mm.
it's devastating to see him being treated like this if all of this is true. And yeah, I am looking forward to seeing what comes out of this. But man, my heart goes out to Flores because I hope he gets justice for this because if what's on the surface right now is complete bullshit that he's being dealt with.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree.
yeah, so is there anything else you wanted to add to this?
Um, it's gonna be this is gonna be an interesting couple of weeks. I know that the Senior Bowl is going on right now. I know practices, excuse me, I've just started, and the weekend is arising. And uh, if the Saints, personally, if the Saints manage to get a head coach by then, I'm excited to see, how they go into this draft, because there is a lot, like, this isn't a deep draft for any position except edge. And I know the Saints need a receiver, but depending on who is going to be in that drafting room is going to really, really need to know, like, what do we need.
Mhm.
So this is probably the most excited I've been for any playoff year ever. As a fan, I
Yeah.
get the Super Bowl that I want. You know, I've come, like I said, I've come to terms with the Rams. Like, if Stafford wins, I'm happy for Stafford.
Yeah.
And since he wins, it's a true Cinderella story. And then all of the immediate offseason changes that are going to be
The
happening.
the quarterback carousel that's gonna happen is
Oh, like, where does Rodgers go? Where does Wilson end up? Where do all these coaches go? And then next thing we know, the draft will become, or the free agency will hit, and then the draft.
yeah, it's gonna be wild.
So
It's gonna be absolutely wild. But Hayden, this was a good little bonus episode. I appreciate you hopping back on the day after the original episode was supposed to be recorded. But guys, be sure to listen to the episode that dropped earlier today if you haven't caught that. We talked about the divisional round. We talked a little Patrick Alvin hiring for the Vancouver Canucks. Should they rebuild? Should they trade JT Miller? Are they going to trade Garland? MGK performing at the All-Star game. Vander Kane signing with the Oilers. And we did talk about whether or not Brady was going to retire, but that question was answered in this bonus episode. And then we talked about the championship weekend. So it was a good episode with my guy over the Zoom call right now.
that's it.
Part of this episode may be cut out because my Wi-Fi is terrible and Hayden kind of glitched out for a bit. So some of it may be cut out. So if it seems odd and not really flowing, then that's exactly why I did do my due diligence and cut it out. So it wasn't too laggy. But Hayden, thanks for coming back on. And folks, you guys have a good week. Enjoy the Pro Bowl if you ever like watching that at all. And we'll see you guys next week for a Super Bowl preview. Peace.